All right, you want to stand kind of facing my way just a little bit and then look toward the camera? Okay, it's August 13th, 2012, and my name is Terry Dean Nimmers, and I'm here with Alvin Schlangen. He's a farmer from Freeport, Minnesota, and he has a farm where he raises healthy food, and he also is involved in a health club or a food club in which he provides healthy food to families and in Minnesota. And the state doesn't like the fact that Alvin's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's never had a complaint against him, but they don't like the fact that he's using a legal club to provide food to families, provide a healthy food to families. Now, Alvin just recently, actually it was last year, March 9th of 2011, that Alvin had some problems in lawless Hennepin County, Minnesota up here. So he's going to be telling you what sort of dirty tactics they pulled on him. Alvin?
Yeah, good afternoon. Basically, we go back to March 9th of 2011. My routine is to do my deliveries through the course of a day, make a trip to the metro and back. When I got into St. Paul at McAllister College, I was held up by a group of Ramsey County police officers and a couple of gals from the Minnesota Dept of Ag. Basically locked me in when I stopped to deliver eggs to the college. What happened was they had, for some reason, they wanted to look at the contents of our private delivery vehicle, and they coerced me, tried to force me to open the door to examine the contents, and I understand that I have a right to privacy. I said, no, I don't think so, to the cops. I said no to the Dept of Ag. We have a private sign on the side of our truck because we understand that this is something that can happen where our regulators are looking for whatever the situation they can come up with for control of our food supply. So the privacy sign on the side of the truck kept them from going in the side door, but the two gals from the Dept of Ag decided they would enter, without my permission, enter the back of the vehicle. They saw something
So they never had a warrant. They never said, Alvin, here's a warrant. Get out of the vehicle. We're going to search your vehicle. You have no choice about this. We're going to search your vehicle.
Right.
So in other words, they asked you.
They asked me to open the vehicle so they could search it. I didn't.
So in other words, you knew that they didn't have a warrant.
They did not have a warrant, and I understood what the warrant is about because I heard about it before. After they looked into the vehicle, they decided that they had something they could use. They called, made a phone call, and 10 minutes later the warrant appeared with a compliance officer. And then basically they took my vehicle from me. They held it for most of the day.
But wasn't, you just recently were looking at the warrant and you noticed there were some problems with it, didn't you?
Right, I hadn't had any reason to concentrate on this paperwork just because it was such a negative issue for me, for our family, with all the media attention that suggested that whatever, you know. But this week I decided to spend more time. What we're looking at is a piece of paperwork that was obviously not designed for Ramsey County. The police officer on the warrant is crossed out. The Minneapolis officer's name is crossed out and then replaced with a St. Paul officer.
And then there's the time on there. The judge actually put the time when he signed it on there was 9:20 a.m. Was that before or after they went into your vehicle without your permission?
Well, I figured this out early on, that they had the warrant signed at 9:20. That was a reasonable time after they stopped me at 9 o'clock in the morning and found a way to get into the vehicle to substantiate a warrant. They didn't have a warrant to start the process.
So in other words, you're saying that no, the only way they could get the warrant was to break into your vehicle illegally.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you get in lawless Hennepin County, or actually Ramsey County. You know, either one doesn't really matter, because the hits keep on coming, don't they? Because they were so proud of this warrant. Is it even mentioned in your complaint?
It was interesting that it does not appear in the complaint, and I didn't realize that until recently. So I knew there was a lot wrong with what their procedure. I just didn't realize it was that obscenely crooked.
Right. So in other words, you thought if someone comes up with a badge that they're going to follow the law, right? They're not going to act like a criminal wearing a badge and a gun.
We've been led to believe that our public servants are actually doing something for us, that there's some justice in public service, and I think there's some of us are in for a rude awakening if we continue to believe that. It's pretty obvious to me now that that's not the case.
No, there's a Susan Siegel. She's the city attorney for Minneapolis, who's going to be prosecuting you, right?
The city of Minneapolis is handling this case now in Hennepin County, and
then her phone number is 612-673-2010. And what would you like to have people ask her? Alvin would like to have you give her a call and give her a piece of your mind, respectfully, of course.
Well, I think the issue here is if you agree with her, what she's doing, to let her know that, and if you disagree with what she's doing, that this is in some way not right, that this kind of corruption is involved in whatever kind of investigation they were doing here, then you let her know that as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, if they need to engage in criminal activity to prosecute someone, there's a real problem, isn't there?
There seems to be a much bigger agenda here than trying to seek justice in this case.
Right, because obviously they don't want little babies getting healthy food, do they? Because you've never been charged with poisoning people or any sort of health crime like that, have you?
We've been connecting consumers and families, whatever, and local food sources for the 10 years, and we haven't had an issue with illness or harm of any sort.
So in other words, safe, healthy food that you've been providing with zero complaints. The only people who are complaining are the people who don't follow the law, it appears.
Seems that way.
Yep. So anything else you want to make mention of?
I think we're covered here.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you for your time. Watch for more updates. Alvin Schlangen, thanks for showing up. Bye.